When I met Izzy, it wasn't love at first sight per se. It was more of a mutual attraction. I was drawn to her from the moment I first saw her, and it was mutual as far as I could tell. It was evident as we caught each other's glances. But I'm somewhat of an introvert, so it took me a while to work up the courage to cross the bar and talk to her. My buddies used to tease me a bit, as buddies tend to do, for not being outgoing and open with women, but they never really took it too far. We all come from a disadvantaged neighborhood and are, therefore, intolerant and aggressive enough to somehow risk ruining a friendship with ill-considered words. When we first got together, Izzy and I hit it off immediately. We were with each other all the time. We made love passionately, argued and argued with each other with equal passion. I thought then that this was true love, the feeling I got just by being near her, touching her hand, that electricity we felt whenever we touched each other. It was more infatuation than love at that stage, but it was more than just lust. Honestly, I've never felt anything like that with any of my past girlfriends, although some of them were hotter. I don't know what it was, but I liked it, and eventually, I fell in love with her. I had no doubt she reciprocated. We went through the normal courtship process, dated, got married. There was nothing unusual about it. We still went out with my friends. She didn't mind the rough company or the vulgar manner in which we sometimes talked, although she once told me that she was puzzled by the way I behaved with them. You see, at home, I was a loving, caring, affectionate husband, and she knew I was not a violent or aggressive person. But after seeing me for the second time in a pub with one of my friends, she told me her impression, that it was very uncharacteristic of my behavior. I told her I understood what she was getting at, but not to worry. We grew up in such an environment that we learned from an early age. If you show weakness, they will try to boss you around. Our behavior was just our way of telling the world not to mess with us. She didn't really mind, but told me that she definitely liked the me she saw at home better than my no-shit image. Life went on as it usually does. We had been married for 6 years now. We were both 32. Most of my friends had either settled down, moved away, or gone to jail, so we didn't see each other as much anymore. We had gotten used to our lifestyle, and I was fine with that. We were very much in love with each other, and we did stupid things like holding hands when we walked down the street. Yes, it was not uncommon for us to act like teenagers. The sex was still exciting, we had plenty of money, and things were going well. I always tried my best to please her, and most of the time, I let her do her own thing. One day, out of the blue, she came home from work and said to me, "Baby, we need to talk. Come over here and sit down. I need to tell you something." Obviously, I was a little alarmed right away, but I still came over and sat down. "What's going on, honey?" She looked nervous but tried to sound confident, I guess dominant. We knew each other so well, I could see right through it. "I'm going to make you a cuckold," she said simply. "I beg your pardon? What?" I was confused. "What the hell is a cuckold?" "It's a husband whose wife has sex with other men," she said seriously, and only a slight twitch of her eye betrayed her uncertainty. "You want to have sex with other men?" The introvert in me was now freaking out. She doesn't love me anymore. She's found someone else. Thoughts were all running through my head. I was talking to my friend Sarah at work, and she told me about the horn admonition. She says it's amazing for both her and her partner. She goes off and has sex with other men. Sometimes men come over, and her husband watches them. She says it really turns him on. I talked to her a lot about it, and from what she told me, her husband is a lot like you in terms of being submissive and loving towards his wife. "So I decided that's what we would do," she stated as if nothing had happened. By this time, I was kind of in shock. I still didn't really understand what a cuckold was, but I didn't think I could live without her, so I agreed, but on one condition. "I agree if that's what you need to be happy, my love," I told her. "Just please don't fall in love with anyone else and don't leave me." "Of course, I will never leave you, baby," she said. "This whole thing is so exciting just because we're doing it together." "Have you had sex with someone else before?" I asked somewhat timidly. "No, I would never go behind your back. But now that you know about it, I'm going away this weekend. Sarah has a boyfriend in mind. I'll tell you all about it when I get home." "You said Sarah's husband is looking at them," I stated back. "I want to look too. Can you bring him here?" My voice shook, and I saw the pity in her eyes. Baby, I kinda wanted my first time alone, so I wouldn't be so nervous. Maybe next time. Please, honey, I begged. I need to see so I know you're not gonna fall in love with him and leave me. Oh, you're adorable, baby, she told me, stroking my head somewhat indulgently. Okay, that's what we'll do. Izzy immediately called Sarah and told her everything was ready, setting up an appointment for Saturday. I was extremely anxious for the rest of the week, asking Izzy every day if she was doing anything else with anyone. You really get into it, don't you? She laughed and continued. No, I didn't do anything. I told you, baby, I love you, and I would never do anything behind your back. It went on like that until Saturday. Izzy was upstairs getting ready. She came down looking amazing and told me to be ready. Sonny should be here in 15 minutes. When he arrives, I want you to open the door, shake his hand, and invite him in. A symbolic gesture, I suppose, signifying that you are giving him your wife. About 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang, and I opened the door. A big guy was standing there grinning. Hey, Cook! I'm Sonny. I'm here to. He started arrogantly before collapsing on the threshold. I kicked him in the head a few times before grabbing him by the hair and waking him up with a slap. Why did you hit me, Cook? He asked with a tremor in his voice. I looked back at my awe-stricken wife, who had no idea what to do and, frankly, looked a little scared. I hit him again. His 2 front teeth were knocked out. This guy was obviously too stupid to know when to shut up, so I kicked him a few more times, then dragged him to the car by his hair, told him to back off and got inside, closing the door. He must have figured it out eventually, because the next time I looked outside, he was gone. What did you do? Izzy asked nervously. Nothing. The stupid broad accidentally fell over, I replied, laughing. No, you were the one who punched him in the jaw. You should have invited him in. Did you really think I was going to fall for that idea? Izzy, what the hell is wrong with you? I've always loved you, and I still do, but don't ever mistake my love for you for weakness. Mind you, I believe you that you haven't slept with anyone. Tell me now, but if you haven't, we will divorce immediately. No! She screamed, interrupting me. Nothing happened, baby. I promise I don't want a divorce. I know what you've been doing. You've been listening to your fucking idiot friends. Now listen. Let me tell you something. If you ever talk about that stupid Horn's instruction again, you can fuck off to that idiot who just washed out. And if I ever hear you talking to that Sarah girl again, I'll shoot you both. I looked at her sternly, but not angrily, and she responded to my stare with a timid look, like the one a dog gets when you catch him wandering outside the gate. I took her in my arms and held her close to me, trying not to show my weakness but almost crying to myself as I thought of how close I had come to losing the only woman I had ever loved.